Yeah.
Your show now starts
Okay. And we
begin.
are here, baby.
Since it appears you're calling
Throwback
about a one-night
Thursday.
show, we are
Let's get
reconnecting
real about
now.
relationships Thursday. And it's on now. And it's going down right now this second. Yo, we gonna take a minute to record. I'm checking all things that is necessary. We gonna do this thing, different kinds of variations of this thing. So some frustrations that we feel against people that will get into it in a minute. Slow down. Everything is gonna be all right. Starting out now. It's the Daily Go Get 'Em Ism Show, Throwback Thursday. Let's get real about relationships Thursday. And tonight on the Daily Go Get 'Em Ism Show, we are talking about she's still a girl. He's still a boy. They're still kids. Sometimes, sometimes when you're dealing with somebody, let's say if you're a man and you're dealing with a woman and you're used to her being a ride or die, you're used to her handling business in a way that most women that you have been with don't handle their business. So you kick it with her and vibe with her like she one of your homies. But in doing that, you might forget that she's still a girl. So when she has those emotions, it turns your world around now. You're thinking, I forgot she was a girl. You sticking it up the place, but it's gonna be okay, kid. And it can happen. The same way that a woman can be dealing with a man that is so sensitive to her needs, so attentive to the things that she wants and needs, and he comforts her so often, protects her so much that you might forget that, listen, this brother is still flesh and bone, and he still has a thing in his pants that gets hard like a bone. So you might start emasculating him, forgetting that, he's still a man, he's still a boy. So there's certain things that are going to appeal to him, that he may not have been showing for your benefit. He might have a need for speed, competition. He might need to rough things up a little bit, get in the square circle, fight it out a little bit. And you may have forgotten about all of that because he's been acting like a little punk for you, but not a little like a little punk, but like a little bitch just for you. But you got to remember, he's still a boy. He's still a man. You got to treat him like one. All right, so let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752. With this, your daily, the daily Go Get 'Em Ism Show. We do this every single day, every day. Every day it rains, every day it rains. And the DG will do the same. We break it down, baby. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. Every day it rains, and the DG will do the same. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar, with the. And if you can't say Omar with the, well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Daily Go Get 'Em Ism Show, all up in your area. I'm feeling like a real man should, and I hope y'all feeling like real men and women should. So tonight we're talking about she's still a girl, he's still a boy, they're still kids. All right, let's go into the before we go, well, y'all know that is Let's Get Real About Relationships Thursday, and we talk about relationships between men and women, and sometimes we have to remind ourselves that communication, although we say communication is the key, sometimes we fail to communicate on the level that somebody needs us to do, and it can cause a communication breakdown, and you may not know exactly what happened. But a lot of times what can happen, as far as this show is concerned, is that we forget who we're talking to. You know how sometimes you have to remind somebody who you're talking to. You might tell them, like, yo, who are you talking to? You might ask them, who do you think you're talking to? And we say that to people who may have stepped out of the bounds of respect. They not being respectful right now. And we have to remind them. We have to remind them that this ain't who you think it is, what you think it is, or the situation that you think it might be. And you may have lost your way for a minute, but I'm going to help you find it. And sometimes we do that with our man or our woman. And we got to get reminded. We might have to get reminded. Like I wrote in the description, one of the pitfalls of being a genius, one of the pitfalls of being really, really smart in school, or being really, really smart overall, one of the really bad pitfalls of being one of the smartest people or the smartest person that people know is that people expect you to know everything all the time. They don't expect you to have to learn anything. They expect you to know everything all the time. And the problem with that is that we may have lived up to that because it was a badge of honor. Like, yo, everybody tells me how smart I am, and I do, seem to figure out things better than other people figure it out. But sometimes I need to be treated just like I'm human, flesh and bone, flesh, bone, and hormone, just like everybody else. I don't know everything. Teachers had to be taught. And I have to be taught too. I can't know everything all the time, right on command, like people want me to know. And I'm not talking about myself. This is what I wrote in the description. We forget that, yeah, just because somebody may be smarter than you or more gifted than you or more talented than you, it doesn't mean that they're always going to know everything. It doesn't mean that they're always going to win. It doesn't mean that they're always going to be the best or the top of their game every single time, every single day. There are going to be times when they need to defer to the team. There are going to be times when they're going to need other people to step up. There are going to be times when they are unsure or not good enough or having a bad day, and they need people to understand that. You understand what I mean? I imagine that when Michael Jordan was playing, even though he built himself up to be the best, and I think it's undisputable that he was the best when he was playing. So there were times when I'm sure that they expected that if Michael Jordan is on the court, then we have to win. He's going to will us to win. He can't do that all the time. There are 82 regular games in an NBA season. They didn't win all 82. Fortunately and unfortunately, there may have been times when they won about 72. There was seasons where the Bulls were that close. Nobody has ever had a perfect season in basketball. I mean, there are 82 games. It's impossible. You're dealing against the best in the world, professionals. But they expected to win most of the time. When he finally started winning championships, they expected him to win them all. Well, actually, we didn't. We never. I don't think in my wildest dreams I imagined that he would never lose a championship after not even being able to get to a championship before he went on that 6 championship run. 2 3-peats. That's almost impossible to do. 2 3-peats. Yeah, he did that. He did that. And imagine the coach. We talk about Michael Jordan, but the coach. Coach Phil. He developed that triangle offense, and it seemed to work pretty well. 2 3-peats in Chicago and another 3-peat in LA. Now, of course, he had the benefit of having 3 Hall of Famers on his team in their prime at that. In their prime. Yeah. So, yeah. So there's a lot of pressure. And I'm sure that there were times when they thought to themselves, like, we're not going to always win. We're always going to try, but we're not going to always win. But shoot, people built them up to be that way, and it's hard to live up to it. So when you're dealing in personal relationships, when a man is dealing with a woman that he can vibe with, kick it with, talk to, relate to, like he would a best friend, a best male friend. Like she ain't like these other chicks. She don't get all emotional, break down, crying, and be bitching about everything all the time and making things about her all the time. She don't do that like other women do. You might forget that she's a girl, though. You know, you might forget that she likes dresses, flowers, candy, you know, girly stuff. You might forget that she may have secretly dreamed all of her life about a big wedding and you know all of the all of the frills and amenities that come along with that, because she don't talk like that all the time. You might be dealing with a woman who has been a single parent her whole life, her whole parenting life. So, in absence of her man, of a man or the children's father that wasn't there, not supporting financially, not there physically, not there emotionally, not there morally, nothing. But she never bitched about it. You don't hear her running around talking about all men ain't shit and niggas don't do this and blah blah blah. She never did that. She just held it down. As a matter of fact, she still likes men. She still praises men. She still believes in the black man. But you might forget that the pressure builds up on her sometimes to the point where she just has to break down and cry. She needs to be held. She needs to be rubbed. She needs to be loved. You might have forgot because she's been acting hard, playing hard. And I don't mean she's acting like a dude or tomboy or anything like that, but she just has been showing this emotional resolve that has been so impressive to you that you done messed around and forgot that this ain't your homie, this your girl. So sometimes she might get jealous if she sees you having an eye for somebody else or showing somebody else some attention. She's a girl. A girl. Yeah, you can remember that a woman is a woman, but don't forget that she's a girl, because the being a girl is the foundation. That's where she comes from. That is where the bricks and the mortar were laid for her to become the woman that you need her to be or want her to be or that you like, love, cherish, admire. But she's a girl, homie. Yeah, she's a girl. She likes girl stuff, dolls and stuff like that. She don't talk about it all the time, but every now and it pops out. She do some stuff that only a girl would do. You like, oh shit. Yeah, that ain't what a man would have done. That's not the way that a man would have handled that situation. Yeah. You know why? She's a girl. And we got to remember that. So just like when it comes to kids, you might have birthed a child that is bigger than the rest of the kids. Sometimes height on a young person can be their worst enemy. People expect them to want to play sports like basketball. People expect them to be athletic. Sometimes they look older than they really are. So people might start treating them like they're older than they really are. I've known people who have gotten into clubs and other places that were age appropriate when they were underage because they looked the part. They may have still had a baby face, but guess what? They were tall enough to be somebody that was old enough. You got in, you basically got in because of a height advantage. You got into the club at age 16 because you were tall enough to be 21. Sounds ridiculous, right? Yeah, it does. But guess what happens when you start treating somebody who's young like they're already older? They will remind you in their actions that they are still a baby, that they are still kids. You can pretend and act like you are older by emulating what you think older people do. But what you can't do is actually know what you haven't been taught the way somebody older has been taught. What you can't do is you can't speak from the experience and act from the experience that somebody older has done the way somebody who has had that experience will be able to do. It's like getting into the boxing ring with an experienced pro boxer. You're not going to beat him. There's no way you're going to beat him. Not because you can't fight. On the streets, you might be whooping ass. But on the streets, you don't have to have the defense that it takes in order to be a professional boxer or to beat a professional boxer. So a professional boxer knows to just wait on you until he sees the open area, and then he's going to tag you up. He might give you a hint that he could knock you out. So while you swinging all wild, and you might be fast, and you might be strong, and you might even have little boxing moves. But like I said, you don't have defense. So you swinging, and you're going to get tired because you haven't been trained to do 3-minute rounds. And so that experienced boxer is going to let you punch yourself out. And once he hears you, he probably could have knocked you out a long time ago because he sees the openings. So he's bobbing and weaving, and you might have tagged him, though. You might have tagged him. But he's going to wait till he sees that open spot. And like I said, he might show you that he could have knocked you out by giving you a body shot. Boom! Tag them ribs up. The rib cage right between your stomach and your ribs. You done watch your Mortal Kombat power meter go from full to... You're trying not to show it. You're trying not to show it. But he can see it. You are hurt. And now you ain't, you dropping them hands. You trying to keep them up because you remember that you got to keep them up. But he done dropped that power meter. You can't be something that you're not. And sometimes those who are what somebody else is not make the mistake of treating somebody like they are what they're not. So in the case of a teenager that you've been that you've been giving drinks to, that you've been smoking with, that you have been taking to places that they're not old enough to be at. Even the people who are there, who are old enough to be where they are, aren't really equipped to be where they are. They ain't built for it either. But being grown ain't about irresponsible sex and drugs and alcohol and breaking laws and all of that. That's not what being grown is about. That's what grown people do, but that's not what it's about. And sometimes we'll take a young person around those scenarios, and just because they look the part and have been acting the part, here we are making them play the part, and we're growing them up too soon, and we forgot that they're still kids. Still a kid. Yeah, that's why he can't hold his liquor. He's still a kid. He's a baby. She's a baby. That's why he passed out on the floor after a few shots. He should be passed out on the floor. He's a kid. 16, 15, 16, 17 years old. His body is not built to be taking that level of alcohol. His body shouldn't have any alcohol in it. It should be a clean body. Yeah, of course, they're brokenhearted and all messed up over a failed relationship or over a breakup. 15, 16, 17 years old, they're not emotionally equipped to handle that situation like that yet. Many adults aren't either. They ain't ready for that. How How many 40-something-year-olds do you know still can't get over a bad breakup? Plenty, I know. We online, right? Go to Facebook, and what do you see? You see a bunch. I got a whole news feed, and a timeline full of 40-something-year-old, 50-something-year-olds bitching about their last relationship. Can't move on because of their last relationship. Crying, bitching, pissing, moaning, complaining, warning. So what do you think a 15, 16, 17-year-old can do with that? You don't expect them to feel that devastation? They're still kid. He's still a kid. She's still a kid. Yeah, why would you put all your eggs in one basket? Why would you allow somebody who was predatory to lead you down a negative path? Why would you have unprotected sex with somebody like that? Because you're a kid and that's what they do. It's kind of crazy because you would think that adults would be the ones that would know better than to have unprotected sex, but adults are worse at it than kids are. Yeah. Kids do it because they think they're going to be together forever. Adults do it because they think they're past getting pregnant or getting burnt. A lot of kids haven't gotten pregnant yet, and they haven't gotten burnt yet. So you got to learn that you can get burnt. You got to learn that seed will grow in a woman's body and become a child. And yeah, then you really will have to grow up a little bit faster, but you won't grow up faster than you're able to. You're still a child. You're just a child who has a child to raise now. They're still a kid, baby. So yeah, we got them on. We say things like such and such is really mature for their age. No, they're not. I hate when people say that because we only really say that somebody is mature for their age when somebody does what we think they should do or when they do what we want them to do. You never hear anybody calling a rebellious child mature for their age. Because we figured that if you're not rebellious and you don't speak out of turn or you don't talk about things that you don't know out of turn, then you're mature because we associate that with what young people do. Adults do the same thing. Each and every one of us has an out of control adult in our lives. It could be a male, it could be a female, it could be a brother, a sister, or a cousin. We may have been raised by a parent who was an out of control adult. And people may wonder how we are more in control than our out of control parent. I know y'all seen it. Like, I don't know how. Sometimes we see where the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree. And sometimes we wonder how in the hell they must have switched that child at birth. But they couldn't have because they look just like them. They just don't act like them. Yet. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She's still a girl. He's still a boy. They're still kids. They're still kids, baby. You got to treat them with kid gloves. You know how we say you got to treat somebody with kid gloves. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Daily Go Getimism show. We're talking about she's still a girl. He's still a boy. They're still kids. Yeah. Shout out to Carol Chamberlain, Robin Ming, T. Carey Wright, Stacy White. Thanks for coming through. Appreciate y'all. Robbie says, trying to be grown before their time. Yeah, they're trying to be grown before their time, and other people are allowing them to be grown before their time. Then we want to get mad at kids when they do something crazy, when they do something stupid, something that was irresponsible, something that wasn't well thought out. What do you expect them to do? They're kids. They're learning. They don't know. You know, all of these kids that get locked up or sent to juvie, get sent to Glen Mills, Slayton Farms back in the day before it closed down, Lafayette, these group homes, Hershey. Yeah. They're really locked up for their inexperience. You know, they have a lot of wilderness inside of them, and they haven't been shown the way. You notice that a lot of those kids that get locked up, a lot of those teenagers that get locked up for serious offenses. Sometimes it's for drug offenses, sometimes it's for violent offenses. Gun possession, sometimes for aggravated assault, robbery, aggravated robbery, sometimes for attempted murder, sometimes for a murder. You know, many of our people, you know, we don't get those considerations that a lot of other people get. A lot of times we'll get tried as an adult. We'll get tried as adults. It happens to black kids all the time. Just keeping it a buck. And I bet you with a lot of those times that we were sent upstate and tried as adults, it was us being around some older kids that felt like we were old enough to do their bidding, older and mature enough to do their bidding, and we weren't. That's why we got caught. You know, I used to watch the dope boys around the way and how they would bring up new dope boys, the youngins, 11, 12, 13 years old. They wouldn't let them hold no drugs right away. They would make them just be a lookout. You just watch for the cops. That's your job. Or when we make a sale, you go get the drugs from the sandwich bag that's under the fourth rock in the empty lot over there, under the tire. You know, by the tire, I should say. So they would go get the drugs, but they didn't. You know, there was a system. You didn't let them hold drugs and actually take sales right in the beginning. They don't know nothing about that. They're going to be out there flashing the money, counting the money out in public or whatever. Somebody going to come snatch that money out their hand. You little skinny punk ass out there trying to sell drugs. You ain't ready for this yet. Let me take this money. You explain to your boss how come you've been out here, you know, missing school all day, selling drugs all day, and you ain't got no money because somebody just took it from you. Strong arm took it from you too. Now they gotta go hurt somebody that taught you a little lesson because you ain't had no business being out here. But only a dumb dope boy would let an inexperienced dope boy hold drugs. No, you do the little run into the store for candy work first. Until we see that you've watched the game long enough to be able to get in it a little bit. Nah, but for right now, you watch for the cops. You go to the Chinese store to get us chicken wings and fries and stuff like that. You just a runner right now. You ain't holding no drugs. You sure as hell ain't bagging up no. You ain't cooking up no drugs or bagging up no drugs. You ain't ready for that. But they got 10, 11, 12-year-olds out here smoking weed already. You know how weed makes you, it enhances the way you think and all that kind of stuff. He ain't even old enough. He ain't went to school long enough to have enhanced thoughts. You can mess a child up at a young age, letting them get high at a young age. They ain't ready for that. Brain hasn't been developed yet. I smoked weed for the first time when I was 21 years old. Started drinking before 21, but didn't smoke weed until I was 21. Make it make sense. It didn't make no sense. So I didn't get high off of this stuff until I was well into to 22, almost 23 years old. Couldn't figure out what the hype was. And then when I finally got high off of it, I was like, oh, this is what everybody's talking about. Okay, yeah, this is kind of dope. No hangover, no sick feeling, no craziness. It was like a light high. Like, this is what everybody was talking about. I couldn't figure it out before. Then I realized, like, had I smoked this at 14, 15, any time in high school, I wasn't ready to. No, hell no. Hell no. Wasn't ready for this. I wasn't ready to get high. But at a young age, I knew I wasn't ready to get high. I knew I wasn't built for all of that. So I didn't go there. Robbie Ming says. Once my nephew turned 18 years old, my brother would try to get him to drink. He was too young and didn't drink. Yeah. 18 used to be the legal drinking age years ago. It's not anymore. And I don't think that it should be. If I had to vote on the legal drinking age being 18, I would probably say no. And the reason that I would say no is because although on the positive side, if you're old enough to start taking care of yourself and start going to, being tried as an adult and to even, play professional sports and things like that, to whereas you are making millions and billions of dollars for a company, then it seems to me like you should be able to drink at the same time. At the same time, once you start getting drunk and start getting high, you start to tear your body down. And at 18, your body is still developing. You're still growing. So why would you stunt somebody's growth or interrupt the development of somebody's growth by introducing them to drugs and alcohol? Of course, we don't look at it like all of that because we don't know. As adults, we don't even know. We know that it's bad. And sometimes that's all you need to know. But sometimes we need to know, or a lot of times we need to know exactly what's bad about it. Just like we want to know what's good about it. But yeah, 18 years old, you're old enough to drive. So if you start drinking, guess what you're going to be old enough to do? Drink and drive. And guess what you're going to do? Drink and drive. That's what you're going to do. That's exactly what you're going to do. And of course, laws don't stop anybody from drinking. They don't stop anybody from getting high. But for those who care about rules, regulations, and laws, it does work. It does work. Robbie said, my nephew was getting ready to go to college. Oh, yeah, he was going to start drinking when he got there. Well, let him get there first. It's safer to drink when you're in college. Sounds ridiculous, but it is. It's safer. Passing out on a college campus is a lot safer than passing out on these city streets, especially a city like Philadelphia. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. So yeah, yo. She's still a girl. He's still a boy. They're still kids. You cannot treat a child like they are grown before they are grown. Shoot, when they become grown, at what age or whatever time in their lives that you believe that they are quote unquote grown, you still may have to remember that they are brand new grown. That's different from experienced grown. And you know how you hear people who have been through a lot of personal turmoil, people who have had rough lives. You ever notice how they believe that they've seen everything, done everything, and been through everything? They believe that they have developed this hardened shell and this toughness that other people don't have, and they have developed that. But guess what? They haven't learned the real test and the true they haven't been through the true test that life has to offer. They think they have because they've been through the muck and the mire and the nasty stuff and the snakes and snails and swamps of life. But you don't know what life is about until you're forced to handle the good part of life too. Until you've learned how to balance out all of the bad things and are able to put that into perspective. The same way you're going to have to learn what it's like to be loved, or what it's like to handle being loved, liked, admired, taken care of, cared for, cared about, revered. You know, yeah, the good part of life. You're gonna have to, learn how to handle having a lot of money, having the talent to go out there and bring home the bacon successfully, legally. Yeah, that's when you're getting closer to knowing it all, seeing it all. Not just because you ran from the cops most of your life, been locked up, lost a bunch of friends to the drug game or gang violence and all that kind of stuff. That's not, no, you haven't seen it all. Everybody don't go through that mess. Everybody doesn't have to experience that. But because that's your circle and that's all you really know, you think that's all that there is to know. You have escaped. You have escaped death many times. But nah, that's only the half. It might not even be the half because there's so much more to life than that. You ever notice that people who have dropped out of high school, you can't tell them nothing? You cannot tell a person that dropped out of high school that they don't know as much as people who have finished high school and went to college. You can't tell them that. Don't you think that's a little odd? Meanwhile, people who have finished high school or went to college, they looking at you like, hmm. Um, I graduated college, and I graduated around a bunch of cats that was smarter than me. So if I know that I don't know as much as people who learned what I learned, how you think you gonna know as much as I know when you ain't even finished the lowest part of the learning that there was to learn? Yeah, well, the streets raised me, and I read a lot and I research and blah 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 blah. I hear you. Your research means that you Google. Maybe you go to the library, but not likely. More than likely, research to you means that you Google and that you watch YouTube. It is research. However, you're bound by the limitations of what you know. We all are bound by the limitations of what you know. But it's irresponsible of you to come out your face like you know as much as everybody else that has learned more than you knows. But you don't know that you don't know these things. You've been making it through life. Hey, if you think convincing a high school dropout that they don't know as much um, as other people who graduated high school and college know, try trying to convince a person that has made a lot of money that they don't know as much as everybody else. Because they'll tell you in a minute, If you're such a scholar, why can't you make $1? If you are such a scholar, why can't you make $1? If you are such a scholar, why can't you make $1? You need to go make arrangements with the funeral parlor because you are dead in these streets. And I'm built like a champion. I compete with the best and I count these dollars every day. And you can't even make ends meet. Hey, you can't talk to me. You can't get in my ring. You can't do the things that I do. You ain't no king. I am, and I didn't have to run scam, and I'm best in the world, god damn. Why you think people follow Donald Trump? Oh, you really think that people believed all of that crazy stuff that he used to say? No. They followed him because he had money. People will follow anybody that has money. They look at people who have money as being smart because they figure, well, you got to be smart in order to make that much money. When you're broke, when you're struggling, when you are striving just to make ends meet, your mind stays primarily on how you're going to pay your bills and still get some of the things that you want. So when you see people who have access and people who have unlimited, what seems like unlimited funds, you look at them like, wow, they are amazing. They're like supermen to you. And that's how Donald Trump was winning. People want to be rich. It's the American way. It's the American dream.
90 seconds.
And he was living it right there in full color. So while those of us who understand that just because you're rich doesn't mean that you're smart, it doesn't mean that you are better, it doesn't mean a whole lot of things. It means that you had a good idea, a good plan, and you put it into motion. But it doesn't mean that the rest of your life is on point. But the people don't care about that. They don't know about that. They're not concerned about that. They just want to be able to be around some money so they can get some. So they can either be shown how to get some, or so you'll be able to piece them off a little something. Break me off of something a little proper lie. Show me where I'm lying, y'all. If I've lied to y'all on this show, I apologize. Girl, you see that I apologize. Tell me what to do to get through to you. All right. Let's do these birthday shout outs. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do these birthday shout outs because y'all still boys and girls.
Seconds.
Y'all still boys and girls. All right, let's get to it. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious May 19th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They are S-P-E-C-I-A-L. They get the R-E-S-P-E-C-T. They get number one out the box, Malcolm X. May he rest in heaven. The late, great Malcolm X, freedom fighter. Yeah. Notable, world famous, nowadays, freedom fighter Malcolm X. Happy heavenly birthday to you. And also Mika Stevenson, turning 48 years old today. And Ernestine Quinn Watson, turning 71 years old today. And Shaniqua Cochran, turning 42 years old today. And pretty, happy birthday to you. And Devanya, right on time, Lou, turning 48 years old today. And Elizabeth Toribio, turning 30 years old today. And Bobby Joe Johnson, happy birthday to you. And Carolyn Gardner, turning 65 years old today. And Natalie Natty, turning 40 years old today. And Antisha Clark, turning 51 years old today. And girl 6 Onyx turning 51. I'm sorry. No age. Okay, and Ebby, happy birthday to you. And my man Dominique Dijon Craig, happy birthday to you, my brother. And Damon McDaniel turning 46 years old today. And Shauna Michelle Harris, my girl, happy birthday to you. And last but not least, the best of the best, my girl, my niece, Nichelle Morgan. Nichelle, my bell, something. My girl, Nichelle Morgan. Let's see. Nichelle was born in 89. So that would make her 33. 33 years old today. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's my girl, man. Pretty talented, smart as hell. Happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to all of y'all and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious May 19th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All y'all go ahead and turn up. But don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on, and do the damn, rock out, rock on, and do the damn, rock out, rock on, and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You know, somewhere along the line, I started doing the birthday shout outs differently. Didn't I used to say something like, no, I guess I still say it. I hope that today finds you in good health, happiness, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. There's still a girl. There's still a boy. And there's still kids. There's still a boy, there's still a girl, and there's still kids. There's still a boy, there's still a girl, there's still kids. We have to remember that. You can't always treat somebody the way that they have been acting. I know it sounds crazy, like, yeah, well, since they've been acting this way, they've been putting on this front and blah, 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 blah. We got to treat them that way. But yeah, we have to also remember that we are all human. And there's sometimes when times get a little bit hard for us, things get a little bit heavy for us to carry. And there's sometimes that we just have to be reminded and we need to be treated like somebody has been paying attention to us and that they're sensitive to what we're going through and who we are and what we are and what we do. So let's start with each other, yo. Let's start with each other, yo. Let's start with each other, yo. We're gonna get it together, sisters and brothers. Everything is gonna be all right. It's Thursday, Throwback Thursday. Let's get real. Hey, and say that we're gonna get these relationships right. When? Starting tonight. And I'm alright, and so are you, and you know how we are and what we gonna do. So I'ma try harder to be sensitive to you. Not sensitive and all crazy, not treating you like a baby, but we gonna be okay, cause I'ma look deep inside your psyche and say, I understand and I care, and I'ma show you right now, right here, yeah. Because communication is the key. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. I hope y'all enjoy listening to the show as much as I enjoy broadcasting it. We will be back tomorrow night. It's Friday Eve. And tomorrow will be Friday. And we will be free. I want to be free. All right, y'all. So you make me so you make me so all right. And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers. See you on the other side, my boobers. See you on the other